What was your first year like at Cal State Fullerton?
So I went to college in fall of 2021. So we have had COVID restrictions slightly lifted for quite some time, but they were still like heavily in place, social distancing, wearing masks, all that stuff. A lot of classes were still online, but like I had like a majority of mine in person. For some of them, just learned better in person, but I also just wanted that normalcy of going back to school, especially for this transition, because I kind of just blinked and I was like a junior in high school, like 15, turning 16, and then suddenly I was like in college. So crazy stuff. But my first year was definitely a bit of an adjustment, but I got really, really fortunate. I had the most amazing roommate ever, the most awesome person ever. She was my best friend. It was so great. And we always did like random stuff. And through college, we ended up living together after I was an RA and everything. And especially after being an RA, I'm just so fortunate for all my roommates. But that first year, Courtney really did just make that year for me and help me in that transition. But yeah, at the time I was actually a business major. I was wanting to do general business and then change my concentration to marketing because I had convinced myself at the time leaving high school that even though I was in theater and I've always wanted to be an actor and I've always wanted to be a writer and all this stuff, that I actually was lying to myself and I really wanted to be in like do like promos and promoting a film. So that's where I started. And, that first year is mostly like gen ed, like extended up high school classes, but any chance I could, I would fit in an elective that was acting, something film related. Like I couldn't get that hint of like, oh, all these other classes make me kind of miserable. Like I'm doing great in them, but whatever. I should have noticed sooner. But yeah, I remember too, because living on campus was an adjustment. Cal State Fullerton is a commuter school. So on the weekends, it was dead. After classes, dead. Like ghost town. Crazy. It being on campus, you get a dining plan. If you live in the dorms and it's your first year, you automatically have to pay for one. And the problem with that for me was I have celiac disease and also a quite lengthy list of allergies and intolerances. The problem with the gastronome, which was renamed something else, they like rebranded it, but they rebranded it like a dozen times. And guess what? It still sucked. That's why they called it the astronome, because it was terrible. I got sick. I was constantly sick, constantly sick from everything. They had an allergen friendly kitchen. It was not. It was not. And the battle with them actually continued to when I was an RA, because it was just reaching to the point where like when I was an RA, that was my compensation. It was like, yeah, you get free housing and free meal plan. And I was like, well, I can't use your meal plan. And then somebody else had celiac too that had been, it was like a whole thing.